where are we at the end of times, where we are approaching the rapture of the church?
Right.
By the way, you know I get emails from people that don't believe there's going to be a rapture of the church, and they'll go back to some woman had a dream, blah, 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 but that's not what you base it on.
The early church, well, the Bible is explicit that there's a rapture. You know, 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, Luke 17, Matthew 24, 1 Corinthians 15, Revelation 4. There are many explicit texts about the rapture. And so the whole concept that this is a recent teaching is completely false.
Right.
And so there's going to be a rapture, and I believe it could happen anytime.
And then after the rapture of the church, what happens? The 7-year tribulation?
All hell breaks loose, and the Antichrist will appear.
Was it the wrath? What do you say it?
It's the wrath. It's the wrath of the Lamb. It's I'm not taking your name in vain. It's Revelation.
The wrath of the Lamb. Yeah,
Revelation chapter 6 calls the tribulation the wrath of the Lamb. Now, isn't that a crazy way to say it? This little precious Lamb. But see, Jesus has been spit on, slapped, rejected, crucified, and he's taken it, and done nothing but give grace to humanity, and patiently waited for them to turn. When the tribulation comes, the Lamb will have his 7 years of wrath on the earth. You can still get saved, but you will go through a horrible time during that period. But the point is, you were talking earlier about a timeline, Joni, and it's interesting. In 1948, the end began. On May 14th of 1948, according to Isaiah 11 and Isaiah 66, that's the day when Israel was reborn as a nation. That started the clock. In 1967 is when Jerusalem was regathered. In 1989 is when the Jews began to come back, according to Jeremiah 31. They began to come back from Russia, the land of the north. And so then, in about the year 2000, it says in Daniel 12, Daniel sealed this book up, because Daniel's a very prophetic book. Seal it up until the time of the end, and you'll know the end has come, because many people will go to and fro, and knowledge will increase. In other words, when the end comes, there will be an increase in travel and knowledge. In the last 20 years, we have seen an absolute explosion of knowledge. Since .com came out, the internet, all those kind of things, smartphones, now we have artificial intelligence. And so I believe that we're current in the sense that we're seeing an outpouring of knowledge and travel. People going to outer space. Private citizens are paying to go to outer space.
Yeah.
And so the other thing I would say is this. What brings us mostly current is the anti-Semitism in the world today. Now, the anti-Semitism right now, this is an article in the Jerusalem Post. Mm-hmm. The anti-Semitism today is as bad as it's been since the 1930s. Mm-hmm. And so in the 1930s, this is before the Holocaust, there were over 9 million Jews in Europe. Before the Holocaust. Now there's about 1.4 million in Europe. And so they're fleeing to Israel, they're fleeing to the United States, but even in the United States now, there's a rise in anti-Semitism on college campuses, there's a rise in anti-Semitism in the media. Kanye West and people like that have made very provocative statements that are anti-Jewish. And this is what I say about anti-Semitism. First of all, it's a spirit. There is a spirit of anti-Semitism that comes that's against the Jews.